Are there effective ways of taking risk?
We're going to find out on the next Ray and Sid. Let's do this.
Okay.
How are you, everybody? Welcome back to Dare to Be Better
With Ray and Sid.
I am Sydney Hall.
And I am Raymond E. Powers.
How are you, everybody?
Great.
Now that I've co-opted your identity, how's your credit? I don't want people...
Oh, no, I do have excellent credit.
Good. I don't want anybody knocking on my door with a baseball bat. Excellent.
I really do.
You, on the other hand, you've got to run. You should leave town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just bought a couple of... No, it's all good. How are you?
I'm really great.
You are fantastic. Well, I'm having a blast here in Las Vegas.
Me too.
Isn't it great?
I don't gamble at all. I don't drink at all.
I dropped a whole $5 on the penny slots.
Did you win anything?
I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. And,
Just $5 less.
That's it. But you can report those as a tax write-off. I think you need a lot more than $5 though.
Really?
Yeah.
Your losses in gambling?
Sure.
Well, they should just say posh to that. I mean, that seems ridiculous.
Sid is not a fan.
I mean...
What, do you work for the IRS?
No, but I am saying if you're going to go drop your hard-earned money into a cha-ching...
Well, the lottery for sure, because then you're supporting the schools.
What's happening?
The lottery, like if you play scratch-offs.
Yeah.
That goes to the state.
Yeah, and you're saying that one's okay.
That one's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, because that's you're helping the schools. But if you're just helping...
Wait, let's not badmouth the casinos here. We might not be able to leave this...
Well, I'm not saying any casino, but if you're just helping, I don't know, a $1 billion, entity... I don't know. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm not with the IRS. I'm sorry. I can't even add 2 + 2 + 1. 7.
I would argue that there are people in the field who might not be able to either.
Oh, gosh.
But my accountant is fantastic, thank God. We have a pretty cool story today. A friend of yours or an associate of yours. I am in the dark here. Please enlighten me.
Sam Castro.
Sam Castro. How are you, Sam Castro?
And I promised him months ago that we would do a show on how to be effective in risk-taking and how I met this kid. He sounds very young, but I really love, he's a go-getter. And you know how we were looking for an app to be built? So he's a app builder. But as he and I started talking, I love the opportunity. As we started talking, I just happened to say, Sam, are you inspired? And are you passionate about your life? Are you doing what you want to do? And he just happened to say, I don't know if I'm really doing what I want to do because I know I need to take more risk. I just don't know how to do that and be effective at it. So I think it's a fabulous subject to talk about risk-taking and how to do that.
There is a way to do it. There might not be one specific way to do it, but there are certainly pros and cons. Timing. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Risk-taking on a personal level. Risk-taking in general is a very broad concept. Skydiving is risk-taking. But so is starting your own business.
Right. So let's take skydiving, because that's crazy. I was just thinking about skydiving.
See that?
But, okay, so skydiving. I have never been skydiving, but I know for a fact, one, you're going to have to do a little research on who you want to learn from. Look at their stars. How many people have effectively landed on the ground and alive and still walking? Okay,
Right.
those types of things. Then 2, you're going to have to save your money. There's steps. So what my point is when you take, let's again, skydiving, when you're getting ready to skydive, you've done all of your homework. You've at least gotten yourself there. Now you've got to learn how to pack your chute correctly. You don't let someone else pack your chute. I'm going to say that would be, unless you're learning, but once you start doing it, I think you should pack your own what is it
as
called?
long as you know parachute. Yeah, that thing that opens up and makes sure you don't splat on the ground.
Yeah.
That's a parachute.
Yeah, because depending on somebody else to save your life, it's a little iffy for me. I think I would want to become a master at packing my own chute. And what I'm saying about that is, as you take risks, you want to make sure that you're becoming a master. You're learning the skills. Now, as you start to jump out of this plane, you're probably, again, I don't know about jumping out of planes, but I'm going to tell you, we probably aren't going to go on a windy day.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about skydiving.
Because
but
imagine if it's a high wind and you jump out of that plane, it can't do
blow
good.
back into the motor or the
It can't do good
propeller.
things for you, because even when you're in a large plane and there's a lot of wind,
Sure, you can
right?
feel it.
So when you take risk, and I am interested because you and I are risk takers, I think I'm more of a risk taker than you.
That's valid. You'll get no argument out of me
Okay,
there.
but you clearly take risk because you took a risk on me.
Boy, did I take a risk on you. It's paying off, though.
Now,
It's a good
let's
risk.
and so tell me about taking that risk. Like, what steps did you do to take that risk?
Well, in the short time I had to make that decision with a gun to my head, proverbially, I basically had a 6-year run with my syndicated talk show.
Okay,
Ray
so
Powers Hour.
so I'm going to break it down. So you evaluated where you were. You evaluated that
Correct.
you had made 6 years. It wasn't just 12 months. You'd made 6 years. You'd become educated in that area.
Absolutely.
You knew that show like the back of your hand. You could do it in your sleep.
Absolutely.
Okay, keep going.
You come to me with a pitch, an idea. Ray Powers, you need a co-host. You need to do a show, and you laid it all out for me. And then you said, what do you think? And I said, well...
Can I say what you said?
Sure.
You said, do I have to decide right now?
You asked me that, yeah. I asked you that, right?
And I said,
You said,
yes.
yeah, I'm pitching it now. What do you want? You want to answer next week? I'm pitching it now.
Pitching now.
Yeah.
Okay, continue on.
And I incredulously answered, well, okay, yeah.
Okay, so stop right there. When you said, okay, yeah, what was the feeling you had when you went, okay, yeah? Was it a down feeling, oh, geez, this broad? Or was it like, this is intriguing?
First thing I thought of is the balls on this girl. Proverbially, of course. I was taken aback, and I was impressed, and I was
What was the feeling you had?
well, the feeling I had was whoa. Pretty much, it was
But it was like this kind of whoa, not whoa.
like I was just given a life sentence. It was more, yeah. It was like, well, this is interesting.
Okay, so stop there because I'm breaking things down. So your next step was you felt like this is interesting. What could come out of this? It was intrigue. You had a little intrigue there.
There was a lot of intrigue, yeah.
And you were interested in seeing what could happen with it. Okay? So
Correct.
I'm just stepping.
That's okay, yeah, that's good. Breaking down the step by
Okay.
step.
Keep going.
I agreed to it, and we spoke another 2 hours after we were off the air. Actually, this was like a week later, I think, when you pitched it to me. But I remember we hung up the phone, and I was like, did I just agree to a new talk show with this woman I've never met? And I
then
was kind of just like, in this like haze of, I mean, it was a good feeling. I thought, yeah, this could be a good fresh start, and it's interesting. Excuse me, but I also kept asking myself, did I just agree
Okay.
to partner up with Sydney Hall, who I thought last week could have been a 65-year-old Borscht Belt comedian.
And it was not because he saw me and thought that. It's because you had never seen me.
That's correct. I mean, you
Okay,
weren't sight
we have
unseen when you pitched it to me. You were sight unseen when I interviewed you.
Right. Because
got
that
it.
would be Bad News Bears
Yeah.
if... I thought I was wearing my Bad News Bears jersey.
Yeah, that was
Anyway,
last week or 2 weeks
okay.
ago.
Bad News Bears if you had seen me and still thought.
Yeah, you were a 65-year-old
Yeah.
Borscht Belt male. Yeah.
Okay, continue on.
So,
So the next thing you had to do is, did you do research? What was your next thing you did?
well, I did further research just to make sure I didn't sign my life away to...
Okay, further research on what?
on you.
Okay, excellent. We're just trying to break it down, and I'm just guiding him. Okay, so
I'm eating the breadcrumbs. It's
right.
okay.
So his next step was you were intrigued.
Right.
Where could this go? So then you went with the feeling of feeling inspired,
Right.
maybe somewhat scared, because that's a true feeling that people are like, I don't know about this, right?
Concern, yes.
Concern.
Always, sure.
So then you began to do research on moi. All right. Now, as you do research, as you all do research on whatever it is you're wanting to take a risk on, if you feel down, like, wow, this is not the direction I want to go, or you just have that feeling of true hesitation and a bit of fear, then I suggest you stop, you pause, you don't make any movements until you feel inspired. Because if you would have had a feeling of, you've done research and this chick, she's been in and out of prison or whatever, right?
Right.
You pause and you go, that's not really the direction I'm going. But if you do research, and as you do research, you still don't know me, but you're like, okay, I haven't found any real red flags, correct?
Correct.
And I don't know her, but the feeling I have, and I know if you don't like me to use that word, I have to use it. The feeling you had was like, I could give her a chance, right?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, continue. I'm going to let you, but I just wanted to let you know we're on step 3. Okay. Go ahead.
So we almost immediately started putting together the building blocks of the show, because you told me the very next time we spoke that you were building a merch page and a line of all this cool swag and all these next steps. I'm like, you've got this fleshed out already? And you're like, of course, it's been like 3-4 days. What do you think? I've been waiting decades for the right co-host. And I was just like, I think I was just flabbergasted at that point. I was just, like, what am I dealing with here?
Okay.
Who are you? What is this?
Okay. My gosh, sometimes when I laugh so hard, I get dizzy because I lose all oxygen. So I'm a little dizzy for a minute. But I want you to explain to Sam and everyone else, when you're going, wow, who is this?
Where did you come from?
Why are you invading my life? My life. Okay, so now I want you to tell them what kept you going. What was it that kept you going past, who the crap are you? Okay.
I think it might have just been your energy and your commitment to that pitch and just having everything fleshed out. A quick story I can tell you. Joe Elliott, singer of Def Leppard, back in 1977, he wanted to start a rock band.
Okay.
All the way down to the details of the printed tickets of the concert. Def Leppard in concert, had everything worked out from the stage show and the lights, had all this in his head.
Okay.
He didn't even, I think, own a microphone at this point. And he goes, this is going to be my band, and this is how we're going to tour. Here's where we're going to play. The guitars will look like this. We're going to wear these clothes. Like I said, right down to the tickets. He had drawn out a ticket with his name on it. With the name,
I love that.
And he goes, this is what I'm going to do. And he had every last detail covered. That was you.
Yeah.
And if I asked you a question like, well, what color mode would you go on this? You had an answer. Mm-hmm. And clearly you had done your research and you came to me with the pitch that was complete. Okay. And, you had your what together. Mm-hmm. I think that's what impressed me.
Okay, so again, breaking it down as people are doing these steps, as one starts to do their research, you're connecting the dots.
Right.
Does this opportunity or whatever you're stepping into, is it adding up? Because let me tell you something. If something is not adding up, typically not adding up. If the dots are connecting, they make sense, meaning they don't have to be a logical thing, because a lot of success happens not logically. But you're finding your research to be true, the dots are connecting, you feel inspired while you're reading about it or learning about it, and the things that opportunity is showing you could come into your life, does it add up to what you want in your life? So that's what you were doing in that step.
Exactly.
Okay? All right.
Yes,
can you go on any further, or is that it?
Sure. No, I realized you were serious, and I realized you had this covered from soup to nuts. Now, we know what that means. Soup to nuts. You have the reference down. And I said, I think I want to pursue this. I mean, my show had pretty much run its course. That was a pretty good run for a show. 6 years, 333 shows in a row.
Wow.
With no break. And I wasn't going to go into competition with myself. You weren't pitching a new music-based talk show.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was replacing one with the other. This was different.
Right.
So, and the Ray Powers Hour is not, in the grave. I'll be doing specials and...
Right.
But, you can only manage a show like that, I think, one at a time. Unless you're Pat Sajak, unless you're, somebody with a humongous team.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, but if you have the team behind you, right? All the people, the engineers, all of that, I think you can do more than one show. Sure. But if you don't, then you might have to be a bit selective at first.
If I can walk onto my set and it's ready to go.
Right. You walk in, you sit down, you do your thing, you walk out.
But if we're going to be committed to this and we're going to sit down 4 hours or in advance and flesh all this out, cover every detail and make sure personally that we have it covered, that's different.
That's correct.
Then you have to basically make a decision. And there was part of me that was thinking, what the hell are you doing? Are you sure about this? I know you're committed to her, but maybe you should have met face to face first. Maybe you start thinking all these things and you're like, well, all right.
So if you're having those feelings, which is a true thing to have, is doubt. Okay, but there's a difference.
Or at least a cross-reference.
Yes. Well, there's a difference between a negative doubt and a concerned doubt.
Right.
Those are different things. So a negative doubt is you feel sick to your stomach.
Right.
You maybe perspire, whatever. You physically and emotionally feel wrong.
Right.
Now, when you have a concerned doubt, that concerned doubt can be answered by questions. They can be researched out. They are things that you can do to help yourself.
Right.
That's a concerned doubt. So you had gotten yourself all the way to this point, and now you had some, we won't call them concerns, you had some questions, I'm sure.
Sure.
Some, a moment to reflect and say, what have I done? So what pushes you forward from here to push to actually recording? Like, okay, this is going to be, I'm in it enough to record our first. Well, you did keep saying to me, well, we'll do a 4-pack. We'll do a 4-pack. Let me tell you this. I don't just do 4-packs. In my head, when he's saying to me, we're just going to do a 4-pack, and I know why you were saying that, but nevertheless, you were probably saying it also, though you had other reasons, to somewhat protect yourself.
Of course.
You had to go, this chick, we got to see if she even can bring it. Right?
Well, a TV show runs a pilot, and then you might have a couple of episodes. And how many shows were canceled after 6 episodes because there was just no response?
Right.
So it does happen. So, that 4-pack was just, my way of saying, I'm committed to try this.
Right.
We might sit down and hate each other.
Right. We could have.
You know?
Very easily.
Sure.
I don't think hate. What I would have thought is you just said,
doesn't work.
I just can't take this chick. It is too much. It's too much. But that, for me, I'm like, when I decide I'm doing something, okay, this pitch to you, because we were talking about this earlier today walking through the hotel. Really, if this relationship was a relationship, like a personal relationship, and I put my foot down like that, you need to decide right now if you're going to be with me for a lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. First, people would think I was crazy for doing that.
Of course.
And everyone think you were crazier
for agreeing to it.
For agreeing to it, right? So there was some risk here. I had to consider, is Ray Powers the gig for me? Because again, 25 years or so I'd looked for my co-host, right? Sure. So when I make that pitch, I too am like, I'm going to make the pitch. I'm going to go for the gusto. I'm going to do this like this is the last guy on earth that could possibly be my co-host, because I'm putting it all out on the table. Sure. So when doing that, now when I take a risk, I feel good about that. Now I wait to see your return. If your return equals what I'm putting out on the table, then I go, okay, that's good. I'm going to take one more step. It's take a step. Does the person or opportunity take a step towards you? Right. Take another step. Does the person or opportunity take a step towards you? Because if you take a step towards it and whatever that person or opportunity is, and they don't add up, meaning they're not equaling you, and they're stepping further away, and you get that sick feeling,
right?
You got to pause.
Well, there was also, on your side, there had to be that I'll say concern. I don't like the word doubt, especially. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have doubt in your life, of course, mm-hmm. but coming out here for the first time, is Ray Powers going to be there?
Oh my
Is the facility set up? Mm-hmm. Did he dot his I's? Is everything covered? He said he'll produce the show. And
is Ray really a guy? Because these days you get scammed.
Oh, I know.
A lot.
Crazy. Can you believe we're at that point?
Yeah.
Where you don't even know who you're meeting.
Oh, yeah. It was risky. Yeah. I took a risk, but again, I felt inspired. Mm-hmm. And exactly. So I was willing to see it through.
Sure.
So I do think it does have a lot to doing your research, of course, but it does have a lot to do with the type of choices you make, and how do those choices affect you? Are you feeling hopeful? You feeling safe? Then good. If not, pause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You breathe that sigh of relief where, okay, he's at the airport, we've got a car. Okay, there's a landing. We have equipment. It all works. He knows how to work it.
Oh my gosh.
And then, you're doing the show, and now you're like just in a zone where it's like, okay, here we are. Mm-hmm. See, for me, the terror happens once it's about to publish. Mm-hmm. Are people going to listen? Are they going to tune in? Are they going to like it? Is it going to connect? Because I know I had all this covered. This was the easy stuff for me.
Right.
But, and the whole entire logistics of it, that's what I do.
Right.
So, and of course you didn't know that.
No.
But it was first it was making sure we were going to connect on the air.
Yeah.
Because it's a risk right until you go live.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And even halfway through the first show, you're like, okay, well, it's still on the rails here. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can bring this home.
Yeah.
And then you cut that first show. You're in 30 minutes. It's a wrap. And you go, we did that. We really did that. Mm-hmm. And it's a surreal feeling, almost.
Yeah.
And
so tell me this, though, Ray. I'm trying to get at this. As you keep moving forward through your risk, because it really was a risk, how do you dissect your risk taking? Is it through feelings? Is it through research? What is it that you do to keep yourself moving forward into risk?
Well, it is the research. You don't find the red flags. You don't find, Sidney Hall wanted for murder in 40 states. Forgery in 30 and more. And in all seriousness, you get a gut feeling, and you got to go with your gut.
Gut feeling. Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And if your gut is telling you something's wrong, more often than not, it is.
Correct. Yeah.
And if something looks too good to be true, how many people have we come in contact with already? Who promised us the moon?
Yeah, and didn't deliver.
Right. And you just saw it like, no, this doesn't look good. Let's tear this up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're everywhere, these people.
Right.
But, right away, it doesn't smell right. It's like, well, if this was so good, why didn't you do this? And if the components don't add up, you run the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't feel that with you, and obviously you didn't feel that with me. Mm-hmm. And here we are once again, wearing out our welcome in another city, and it's great.
We just keep going from city to city to see who's going to welcome and allow us to return, really.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
Are you still welcome in your hotel?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
All the elevators still work?
Yes.
So it's only New York that you abuse?
No, I do what I do everywhere. And it's
the traveling horror show.
Mm-hmm. And it's the talking and, and just being happy and being...
That part just absolutely amazes me. I love watching it. You're talking to the Uber driver, and in 5 minutes you're exchanging numbers.
Oh my gosh, I did. I got his number.
I know you did. That's what you do.
Oh, I love it. I'm always looking for ways to take people with us. I don't want the already put together artist or the already put together anything. I want that hungry individual that has more talent than anyone's seen or anyone knows about. And I want them to use that talent and sort of build with us. They don't have to become us, but they build with us and they use us as a stepping stone. Always looking. Yeah. So the Uber driver, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that because he was, how are we doing?
Yeah, about 3 minutes. We're okay.
Okay. So, he lives here and his family lives in Mexico. And he was talking to me how he is going to go back to Mexico and stop doing Uber because there's not enough people in Vegas. It's just too hard.
Right.
And that he has his grandfather. This was intriguing. His grandfather makes pottery. And I bet you anything, that pottery is beautiful. So he's going to go back and run that company for his father. So, I'm always, I don't do things haphazardly or by accident. And
no, you've thought it through. You've thought it through.
Yes, but I thunk it through too. But
clearly she gets me and vice versa.
Yeah, but my interior design company, I've always wanted a line, either a dish line, a pottery line, and that kind of person who's going back to run that for his grandfather. You know what I'm saying? To have pottery made by hand through a family in Mexico? Come on now. And he was
authentic as it gets.
And we just connected. And he said, you would really be willing to do that? And I said, yeah, of course. So that's what I love doing. Finding people who are building and figuring out how to attach them to us so that they can become what they're meant to be.
See, risk taking for some people is, a sandwich at a gas station. Mm-hmm. And that's as far as it goes for some people.
Yeah.
But, this was a calculated risk. That's what I wanted to drive home.
Yeah.
Because, there was research involved. And, it happened to work out. And look how many years it didn't work out for you.
25, and again, sat with 5. And again, it doesn't make those people wrong. They just weren't they weren't Raymond D. Powers.
That's true.
And
they're probably thanking God that they're not. But beside the point, you and I, for
whatever reason,
whatever this is, we get each other, and people are connecting, and obviously, you guys and girls, enough of you are loving this, so we thank you for that. And tell your friends, hey, come check out the Freak Show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dare to Be Better is the name of it.
Dare to Be Better with Ray and Sid. We'd love you to write in. Mm-hmm. Give us your 2 cents. rayandsidshow@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's about all the time we have. That was a great show.
Oh my gosh. And that was for Sam Castro, the app guy that I'll probably never meet. You see that's what's so beautiful about it.
You never know. I don't put anything past.
Yeah, we could meet, and we're going to need an app. And I love how hungry he is. That kid is back in touch with me all the time. Love that hunger. He's going after life. He's young, and I love that he's asking questions on how to be more effective in his risk-taking, in his career. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. That's great.
Yeah, I love it.
You are one of a kind.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to be in touch with the the Uber driver too, about his pottery.
I have no doubts. Kids, thank you once again. Mm-hmm. Our mission statement, dare to be better.
With Ray and Sid.
We'll see you next week.
Toodles.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you enjoyed the show, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and please tell your friends. We'd also love it if you headed over to daretobebettershow.com for tons of cool photos, extras, and a chance to shop for some sweet show swag. Say that 5 times fast. I could barely say it once. If you keep coming, we'll keep delivering. Thanks again.